those early records that I made, duet records that I made with Chip Taylor, and then even my first solo records all had a very Americana kind of folk sound, and often drawing from my mother's side of the family, who all talk Black Thais. Um, and also I was really interested in fiddle music, and I was really studying like different styles on the fiddle and old time and Western swing. Then I got to a point somewhere along the way where I felt like I really like my music didn't represent me in a full way. Like I definitely, in fact, I remember being at a like a bluegrass festival and having this realization on stage that like started looking out at the audience, thinking about who was on the bill, and I realized I'm like the only Latina here, like here in this festival with 20,000 people. I mean, I'm like scanning the place, and I felt strange about that. I felt kind of lonely, but also I felt like, wow, well, if there aren't many Latina fiddle players, then I need to be, then good. I hope I'm an example. But it kind of sent me down this path.
Welcome to the Back Catalog Listening Party, your weekly musical happy hour where musicians pick an album from their back catalog and tell the stories behind their favorite tracks in front of a live online audience.
This week we talk with Texas singer-songwriter fiddler Carrie Rodriguez about her 2016 album Lola, inspired by her great-aunt Eva Garza, who was an international star during the golden age of Mexican cinema in the 1940s and 50s. She talks about writing in Spanglish, recording while 7 months pregnant, and working with the ever-playful Bill Frisell and an amazing cast of players. So pour a beverage, grab a snack, and kick back as we listen to music together here on the Back Catalog Listening Party, where it's always Friday and old albums never sounded better. Happy Friday!
Happy Friday!
And welcome to the Back Catalog Listening Party. My name is Mother Banjo, one of your hosts.
My name is Anthony Ihrig, the other host.
And today we have joining us Carrie Rodriguez.
Nice. Hey, y'all.
And we understand that you have fled your Texas home for the cool north and that you're actually joining us from right here in the Twin Cities today in Minnesota.
I am. I'm in St. Paul today.
Oh, my hometown.
Right.
Yeah, it's a great place to be.
Yeah. Well, we are excited to have you both in our fair state, as well as joining us today on the Back Catalog Listening Party. Folks are excited for the show, showing up early and right on time. Alan was the first to check in,
hey, Alan.
saying enjoying a gin and tonic, and takes a sting out of being stuck in Houston. He'll be back in Green next week, I guess. Well, welcome, Alan. We're glad you've joined us for the party. Christopher, we're looking forward to today's show, enjoying a nice red table wine blend in Savage, Minnesota. That sounds great.
Hey, Chris.
And Susan joining us from Bend, Oregon, enjoying a glass of red wine. Seems to be interesting summer choices, but awesome. And then Connie saying hi from Richfield.
Hey,
and
Connie.
Tony, are you enjoying any kind of beverage on this summer day?
I am, because this is our weekly musical happy hour. For those of you who have not been on the show, we always clink our glasses. And right before the show, I thought, man, it's still warm. It feels like peak summer. I'm going to get like this cider I really enjoy from a company called Wild State here in the Twin Cities. And I was thinking I was buying the raspberry hibiscus. It's like a nice savory, not so sweet, but apparently it's the hazy pink pineapple, or in other words, a Sour Patch Kid in a glass. And it's still delicious though, and it's going to get me through this hour, and it tastes even better in my back catalog.
I was going to say, and
party.
It looks really good in that back catalog listening party pint glass. So, so cheers to that.
Yeah.
Carrie, what about you? Are you enjoying any kind of beverage or snack today?
I am representing Minnesota right now. So we're at a lovely Airbnb in St. Paul, and in the fridge was this Northeast Grain Belt beer.
Nice.
I thought this was like the right thing to do. It was appropriate for the moment.
That is Twin Cities as it gets.
That is a Minnesota beer. And right now I am getting fancy because I just felt like being fancy today. So I poured some Sauvignon Blanc, but from a bottle, not a box, folks. I mean,
yeah. Well,
it's pretty fancy.
That is fancy stuff. Well, cheers, Ellen. Cheers, Carrie.
Salud.
And welcome everybody. Welcome Joe, who got here just in time to catch the show from Minneapolis. having the
Oh, that's a
Nealis
good one.
Irish Dark from Summit Brewing. Nice choice, Joe.
That's a really good brew. Well, we are excited to have you all here. And if you're new to the back catalog listening party, as Tony mentioned, it's our weekly musical happy hour. We invite some of our favorite artists to come on and revisit one of their older records. And it's meant to be interactive. So if you have comments or questions for Carrie as we go today, feel free to throw them in the live chat. And before we get started, for folks maybe who are less familiar with you or your music, Carrie, maybe you could give a brief origin story of like where you grew up and how you fell into making music.
Wow. Okay. I'll try to keep it brief. I grew up in Austin, Texas, and I have played the violin since I was a little girl. Um, I fell into music, I guess this kind of music, in my early 20s after going to music school. I got a gig playing with Chip Taylor, who is a legendary songwriter. And before that, I had never sung before, never tried to write a song. My whole goal was to get a gig playing fiddle with somebody. Great. So he definitely brought all of these other kind of elements into my music and got me to start singing and writing songs. And that eventually led to many records, solo records over the years, and doing what I do today.
That's awesome.
Excellent.
And you said you went to music school. So were you pursuing more classical violin playing, or what kind of music were you doing when you were in music school?
Yeah, I started out at the Oberlin Conservatory studying violin.
My alma mater. Nice.
Really?
Oh.
Oh, wow. Very cool. Well, I
Yeah.
only lasted 1 year. I found that my freshman year of college, I left Texas and I was so homesick for especially the music that I would hear all the time. And so I found myself sitting in my dorm room, like playing along to Lyle Lovett albums and trying to learn the fiddle parts instead of practicing my Tchaikovsky and my scales. So
Excellent.
yeah, I about halfway through the year, I realized I needed something different, and I found Berklee College of
Mhm.
Music in Boston and sent in my audition cassette tape, because that's the way it was back then. Yeah, and the rest is history.
Nice, nice. So you put out a bunch of records, kind of in that more kind of singer songwriter, folk, now Americana sort of vein. And the album we're going to listen to today is maybe a little bit different from maybe what some people would have known from your earlier recordings. Do you want to talk a little bit about this record and what inspired you to make it?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, those early records that I made, duet records that I made with Chip Taylor, and then even my first solo records, all had a very Americana kind of folk sound, and often drawing from my mother's side of the family, who all talk Black Thais. Um, and also, I was really interested in fiddle music, and I was really studying like different styles on the fiddle and old time and Western swing. Then I got to a point somewhere along the way where I felt like I really like my music didn't represent me in a full way. Like I definitely, in fact, I remember being at a like a bluegrass festival and having this realization on stage that like started looking out at the audience, thinking about who was on the bill, and I realized I'm like the only Latina here, like
Hmm.
here in this festival with 20,000 people. I mean, I'm like scanning the place. And I felt strange about that. I felt kind of lonely. But also I felt like, wow, well, if there aren't many Latina fiddle players, then I need to be, then good. I hope I'm an example. But it kind of sent me down this path that then was okay. So when I was maybe, I don't know, I was living in New York City, working mostly with Chip at the time. And my grandmother sent me a stack of CDs that she had digitized from old records that were
Hmm.
recorded by her sister. Her name was Eva Garza. And she was like family legend. Growing up, my grandma always talked about her famous older sister. And I mean, I don't know, my grandma would brag about all of us. So I guess part of me thought maybe she was exaggerating a bit when she'd go on. So she sent me the stack of CDs when I was living in New York and said, Carrie, you need to listen to this music. This is your family. This is my sister. And you need to know where you come from. And I'll just never forget putting on that first album and hearing her voice with these, you could hear all the pops and scratches in the old record. And she had this real husky kind of alto, very dramatic voice. And I sat down on the couch and started weeping. Just couldn't believe that was a part of me in some way. And that's when I decided, okay, well, I want to know more about not only her music, but the music of her era. And then I got brave enough to try singing my first song in Spanish. And that just opened up my world. It was really
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And these pictures, you shared some photos with us here. Can you, for those of you who are watching on the YouTube channel, can you tell us a little bit about these photos?
Yeah, this is my great aunt, Eva Garza. She was born in San Antonio, Texas, and got her start very early. Started touring nationally and then touring in Mexico and then throughout South America. She had gold records. She was in Mexican films. So my grandma, it turns out, was not exaggerating.
Yeah. For those of you who are watching, you can see by these photos, I mean, not just anybody got pictures like this back then. This is the real deal.
Yeah. Really cool. And if you're just listening to the podcast version of the show, these will all will have photos that you can check out on the show notes at backcataloglisteningparty.com, because she's stunning, and I can see how that would be amazing to discover you have that in your family, and you didn't really know.
Yeah. And so it really gave me the inspiration to dive deep into that whole, I mean, her era, La Época de Oro, the golden era of not only Mexican music, but of film, is just such an incredible trove of art. And to learn about people like Lola Beltran, who was a contemporary of hers, who's this dramatic, wonderful singer. I love this photo of her because it shows her hands. And every time you saw Lola perform, it's like her hands were a part of the performance. They were just showing you the emotion and the music.
Wow.
So in the first song I picked for our podcast, I dreamed I was Lola Beltran. I'm kind of imagining what it would have been like to be around during Lola's heyday, during my great aunt's heyday, and to be in one of those like fancy supper clubs where they might have performed, where it's like everyone's in ball gowns and the men are in tuxedos and all the glamour is there. So I mentioned Lola Beltran, but also another heartthrob star of that time, which is Javier Solis. And you'll hear me sing about him in the song.
Excellent. Well, it seems like a good segue here to listen to the first track that you have lined up, which is I Dreamed I Was Lola Beltran, here from Carrie Rodriguez on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Picture frame y en el otro lado date is written by your name in monochrome, but I know those lips were red, ribbon microphone, early 40s, CBS, film and flash and lens and light and such. Give me a photograph that I can touch. I dreamed I was Lola Beltran, and you were Javier Solis. We were bailando while himself, captured in the room. Pop and hiss the needle in the groove. So much I miss the record is the proof. I dreamed I was Lola, Beltran, and you were Javier Solis, and we were baila, baila, bailando while you sang to me. I dreamed I was Lola, Beltran, and you were Javier Solis. We were baila, baila, bailando while you sang to me, while you sang to me. Blanco y negro.
Ah,
Nice.
I love that whole ending and how
Yeah.
how it really takes its time and
Mhm.
you could have just done a quicker fade out instrumental thing. And I love it because it feels like that when you wake up from a dream, like that kind of
Mm.
like that slow coming back to life kind of vibe. I don't know.
And I was
It's
hearing
really
like artifacts from like a scratchy old record there too, you know,
Yeah.
like there, because this is a very modern sounding production, you know, but there is this dreamy quality, like you were saying, Ellen, and it does kind of have this almost like this idea of another time,
Mhm.
kind of embedded in the sounds I'm hearing.
Mhm.
Yeah, really, really beautiful stuff. Again, that was I Dreamed I Was Lola Beltran from Carrie Rodriguez's album Lola, which came out in 2016. And we're revisiting today on the back catalog listening party. And you were mentioning, kind of, there was kind of, you were imagining you were this, famous singer of the time from the 1940s. And I was picturing, as you were talking about wearing the ball gowns and the tuxedos, and I was thinking my glass of white wine from a bottle just wasn't fancy enough. I wish I had a martini or something. But I
Yeah.
don't know what would have been the beverage that would have been like in Mexico. What would have been like the fancy cocktail of the time? Do you know what that would be?
Yeah. I don't know, and this could be totally wrong, but I'm just picturing, like, a little glass of sherry,
Oh
Mm.
yeah, yeah, I
like
can
a
see
real
that.
fancy little crystal
Yeah,
glass that's
just
yeah.
have like this much.
And can I just double back? Maybe you might have mentioned this before, but just because I want to get my head around this, and I know I'm going to go down this rabbit hole. What were the years of this kind of golden age that you were
Mm.
talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably, like, the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Okay,
I guess it could have gone
okay,
back I into the 30s. I know that my great-aunt's career started in the late 30s,
okay.
and she died sadly very young. I think she wasn't even 50 yet.
Hmm.
Died on the road of a heart condition, but, Yeah, yeah. I think 40s and 50s though, when I think about the golden era, especially
Okay.
of those movies, those Mexican movies
Yeah.
were incredible.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I loved one of the other things I noticed in this. Obviously, most of it was sung, was written in English, but there are a few really lovely things. Like I think I heard, did I hear "Baila Baila" by the Moon? Was that? Did I hear that correctly?
You heard "Baila, baila, bailando," which is
Bailando, yeah.
yeah, it's
Oh.
dancing. I dreamed I was dancing.
But I love that. But I love that that was in Spanish, and then "By the Moon," like there was just a great cadence to that whole feeling, and it felt like dancing. Like even the word sounds more sounds more like the image that you're portraying. So it was really, really lovely. I liked that combination of some English and Spanish. Was this song always going to be in English, or did you ever think about writing this one in Spanish?
I guess the chorus yeah, I think the chorus came first, so it was definitely a Spanglish situation, which
Mhm.
is the most natural thing for me. I've never written a song completely in Spanish, and I don't know that I ever will. I have an interesting relationship to the language too. I didn't grow up speaking it. Many Mexican Americans in Texas share this story. It's like my father's generation, who he grew up in the '60s, they were not allowed to speak Spanish in school and would get slapped on the hand with a ruler for saying a word in Spanish. So that whole generation really lost language.
Hmm.
So my father was one of six, and I mean, they all understand it, and their parents spoke some to them, but for the most part, they're not, really speaking Spanish fluently, and so that gets passed on. So I didn't grow up speaking, although I always studied it and really wanted to learn it, and then I ended up marrying a man from Spain who I met at Berkeley, and we were together for over a decade, and we spoke Spanish at home. So that's where my Spanish comes from.
Hmm.
So it's
Interesting.
really odd. I like my Spanish is not like Chicana, Mexican American, Texas Spanish at all. um, and I have my own issues with that. I'm very self-conscious sometimes in Texas using Spanish because people
Mm.
think I'm trying to sound like I'm from España porque tengo un acento muy así, pero that's how I learned it. So yeah, and I should also say this song is a co-write with a wonderful songwriter named Susan Gibson. You may
Mm.
know her from she wrote Wide Open Spaces with the
Yeah, by
Dixie
the
Chicks.
Chicks. Yeah.
Yeah, but she's such a great writer. And yeah, I remember being at her house out in the country in Wimberley, Texas, and shared this chorus. And yeah, we were together kind of building this imaginary space,
Mm.
this glamorous space. And I was showing her photos of my great aunt and talking about it. So she
Oh,
definitely helped me. I get to these points when I'm writing a song where maybe I have one verse, but I just cannot get that second one started. And I keep trying and trying. And it's so great to have a collaborator who can kind of unlock that spot that you're stuck in and get you
mm.
through to the other side. So it becomes a song, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of collaboration, you also sent a picture of a group of people that look like they all contributed to the album, and it looks like a kind of a who's who of amazing musicians. And I thought maybe we could take this opportunity to talk a little bit about the musical collaboration here.
Oh yeah. What a band we
Yeah.
had. So
Holy moly.
let's see, I'll just start over on the left. So that's Bill Frisell, who is one of my musical heroes, and I've
Hmm.
gotten to work with him quite a bit over the years. He played on a duet record that I made with Chip called Red Red Dog Tracks. Sorry, I was about to call it Red Dirt Girl. That's not right. Um, but yeah, and that's where we first worked together. But I've gotten to do some tours with Bill and play with him over the years. Such a sweet, dear man, and
Mm.
brilliant creative force.
I think one of the best guitarists of all time,
Mm.
honestly.
Truly, yeah. So we had Bill. That's Brannon Temple on the drums. He is such a phenomenal drummer from Austin, Texas. You might see him out on the road with Ruthie Foster.
Mhm.
He tours with a lot right now, but he's played with everyone from Shaka Khan, to country artists, and he can do anything.
Nice.
And awesome human as well. And then next to me is my husband Luke Jacobs, long time
Minnesota. Yeah.
Minnesota connection. And we've played music together since we've known each other. And he's playing pedal steel and lap steel and some rhythm guitar on the album. I think on the song we just heard, he was playing pedal steel, a lot of that weird, spooky kind of pedal steel. Next to him is David Polkingham, who is a wonderful guitarist. He tours with Patty Griffin now and is a big part of her new record that just came out. I met David on the road with Alejandro Escovedo many years ago. We toured together and just had so much fun playing music together. And I've probably played music with David longer than anyone. We played music together for well over 20 years. That's Lee Townsend next to him. He is the producer, and he has produced almost all of Bill Frisell's albums since the very beginning. And he and his wife, Phyllis Oyama, have been my managers for 15 years. And he's an old school producer. He's one of these people with like, his ears are enormous and he hears everything. And he also is really great at like navigating emotions and making people feel comfortable in a studio and just, letting people feel good so they give their best. He's so good at that.
Awesome.
And then next to him is Victor Krause, wonderful bass player. He's Allison's brother, and I've gotten to work with him on a few records over the years. He's played a lot with Bill as well. Some of my favorite records of Bill's. So,
wow, what an amazing cast.
Yeah. And so when you were looking to record this record, did you already kind of have these arrangements in mind for these songs, or did you kind of figure that out either with Lee or with the musicians in the studio?
A little bit of both. I mean, it started with Luke. Luke and I just would make demos at home of the songs, just acoustic guitar and fiddle. So we started there. I remember having David Polkingham over to the house once or twice beforehand to show him a few songs. And then really it was a product of just being in the room with these brilliant musicians. And I mean, we truly did about 3 takes of each song live. And we were in a wonderful studio, Arlen Studio in Austin, where we could all be playing at the same time, yet still be isolated if we needed to change anything.
Nice. So you could react to each other.
Yes. And we really were. I mean, we truly did like 3 takes per song and then picked the best one. I didn't even redo any vocals. It was it was kind of just a magical thing. Not all sessions are like that,
Wow.
I attribute it to the fact that I was 7 months pregnant, and I think that baby gave me superpowers.
Well, and it also gives you more of a sense of like, well, this is also got to happen, or it won't happen for a long time.
Exactly. Urgency.
Yeah, urgency. Right.
There was a major deadline.
Oh, we see a little baby bump in that photo.
Yep,
There we go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Want to make sure we saw it before photo. So.
Yeah. And did that, I'm just curious because I don't know how far along you were when you said what, 7? So we said?
I think it was like between 6 and 7.
Like, did you find that for your singing that was like more challenging, just, any of the on your diaphragm or anything, or did you not find a problem with that?
No, people warned me about that. And no, I mean, maybe if I were 8 months pregnant, it could have just been the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Because I remember feeling, honestly, I felt like that baby was giving me some extra something. Like I had never had such an easy time singing.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But then later, yes. I mean, being a month or so after that is a whole other situation. You could barely breathe. So,
those 3 takes, that was a really good thing that you knocked that out before you knocked something else out. So one of the things I noticed too on that last song is, again, that long, slow, like fade out. Was it when you did 3 versions, maybe, I don't know if it was that song was also 3 versions, like, was it always as long as that? Or did you play around with that ending a bit?
I'm sure everyone was different. I don't remember the other takes we did. But I mean, that's Bill Frisell is such a creative human, and that he's never going to do the same thing twice, which is the magic,
Mm.
And so I was doing an interview with him, and he described playing music with people like going to the playground, and you can like climb up to the top of a slide, and you can actually like push your friend off the slide, and they'll fall to the ground, but they don't actually get hurt. Like,
Mhm.
But I think he is like a kid when he
Mhm.
plays music, and you feel that, and it's, everybody starts catching that vibe.
Mhm.
So I think we were just in a very open, creative headspace.
Love it. Well, it sounds fantastic, and I'm so glad that you got your headphones, Carrie, because the three of us are listening on nice big headphones, and the songs sound so good. So I know Susan chimed in the chat to say just lovely, and I will say, if you're feeling the tunes the way we are, then you'll want to pick up a CD copy. She still has them left at carrierodriguez.com, along with
Mhm.
her new album, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and merch and other cool stuff. So go to carrierodriguez.com, order one of those CDs, because I guarantee you, as much as you're enjoying it on the podcast or YouTube, it'll
Yeah.
sound at least 20 times better
Yeah.
if you get the CD version.
We were talking before the show started today that it's like, if you haven't listened to a CD in a while, check it out. There's a lot of ones and zeros that you've been missing. And boy, it sounds so good.
With this cast of players,
Yeah.
really good.
Hey there, would you like to be part of the live show? Well, become a member of the Back Catalog Listening Party Patreon, and you'll get a backstage pass to weekly online tapings where you can ask the artist questions and participate in the live chat with a fun community of like-minded music nerds. You'll also get a first look at upcoming guests and receive invitations to special live streams and private after parties. So join the party today at patreon.com/Back Catalog Listening Party.
Well, we're going to jump into some more music. And the next track you picked to feature from Lola is Z. Is there anything you want to say about this before we listen?
I can set it up by saying, so when you first start playing outside of your hometown and you show up at a gig where there's like a big marquee with the block letters, it's a cool feeling. You like drive up and Carrie Rodriguez is playing at 7 p.m. I mean, it hasn't happened much, but it has happened. And that was the inspiration for the chorus of the song. It is a very autobiographical song. I think the rest speaks for itself.
All right, let's give it a spin. This is Carrie Rodriguez with Z here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Been breaking it down ever since I was little. Opera and pearlman, honky tonk violin. Mama took me out so I could take it all in. Abuelita told me never meet 'em in the middle. It's better when you're older if you don't learn to settle. Doors are gonna open if you want them to. But you might have to knock 'em down. Not everybody's gonna spell your name right, honey. Might get it wrong on the grand marquee. But you can just sing 'em a song. Meow, tell country music where to put the Z. So when you see me in the elevator, second string spectator, fiddle in my hand, don't ask me what I play. I play for DJs, presidents, single moms, immigrants, dodged a few bullets along the way. Solo duet
Carrie,
Nice. Yeah.
Carrie Rodriguez with Z from her 2016 album Lola, which we are revisiting today on the Back Catalog Listening Party with Carrie joining us. And everyone who is joining us for the live show today is just like, wow.
Yeah.
and Joe says it rumbles, it rocks in fine fashion. Alan says the Austin is strong in this one. Yes. And I will say, yeah, this album or this song has such a like that. I mean, you're right. It's and not only is autobiographical in terms of the lyrics, but it feels like musically this is like the most authentically Carrie Rodriguez thing I could imagine.
Yeah, I think it fits. So that someone wrote, and it's something about my music. They called it Americana, which I just love. I've totally taken the term.
Take
Yeah,
it.
when you go to your
Yeah.
website, it's like the first thing you see, which I think is perfect. Yeah.
Nice.
It's great. So I do think that song definitely fits that category pretty well.
Nice.
Yeah, well, it just sounds great, and I love that the fiddle gets a nice big spotlight in that. And when you write songs, do you go to the fiddle? Do you just hear them in your head? Do you go to a guitar or another instrument to write songs?
Yeah, this one definitely was fiddle based. So really, it's either the fiddle or I play the tenor guitar, which I actually played on that first one, Lola Beltran, and I just never learned how to play the guitar, y'all. It's like one of those things that feels like too big of a mountain to climb at this point, which I know
Tenor guitar
it's not.
counts.
I mean, I basically tune it like a fiddle, or I have some different kinds of open tunings, but I get intimidated by more than 4 strings. I don't know.
Well, you
So
do a lot with those 4 strings. So
Exactly. Well, hey, you're also talking to 2 banjo players here, so you don't need guitars. Whatever.
yeah.
4 strings is plenty. Oh, I guess you have 5. You have 5?
Yeah. 5 will do.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh, but well, whatever strings you used, it sounds amazing on this song, Z. And maybe we can give you a little opportunity to because you were talking about, especially in that song, the the sort of looking for more of like those Latin influences in country music and in the Americana music you play. Maybe you can give a little information about the arts organization that you founded to address that.
Sure. Yeah. It's called Laboratorio Arts. And it really came out of a concert series that I started right after Cruz was born. I was looking to kind of build something at home, something that didn't take me out on the road. And also just to meet more musicians in my community. I mean, I'm from Austin, and you'd think that I, had a big circle of musician friends at that time, but I really didn't because I was on the road so much of my young life. And especially in what you would call like the Latin music scene. It always felt in Austin very separate. It was like, much like our city. I mean, we are divided by I-35, and it has historically been a very segregated city. And the music scene was very much like that. I mean, it still is in some ways, although I do feel like we're evolving and it's little by little getting better. But that is why I started Laboratorio. It was like a monthly series, and I had this amazing house band, and we would get a different um, artist who played Latin music. And I say that with air quotes because Latin music is so broad and means so many different things, just like being Latino in this country can mean so many different things. So I really wanted to explore that and get to, know different types of music that might be called Latin music. And so we started the series, and we'd get all these different guests, mostly local. And little by little, it grew. We formed a nonprofit about a year and a half ago. And this concerts are still going. They're just now at really nice theaters, and which is wonderful. We've had a home at the Paramount State Theater for the last 4 or 5 years, and we developed a theater show, a full length like theater show called Postcards from the Border, with a wonderful writer, Oscar Cáceres, and photographer, Joel Salcido. And that premiered in January at UT. So we keep kind of expanding. We made a record that goes with that theater production. We're right now working on a record with Ruben Ramos, who is a Tejano pioneer and legend. and 85 years young.
Nice.
So I'm currently producing that, and we're making a documentary about him. So it's been a really exciting few years, and I'm very grateful to still be doing so much music, but in different ways and learning and growing. It's just, yeah,
Mm.
it's work that I feel very, very passionately about.
Excellent.
That's
Well, if you're
awesome.
just listening to the podcast version, laboratorioarts.org is the address, and we will have a link to that and more information at backcataloglisteningparty.com.
That's right. And so do you see Lola, this album that we're revisiting today, sort of as kind of that first step towards founding this organization? Like, was it the first step on this journey?
Absolutely. And the first time I mean, half of the songs on the album are, well, are half. I don't remember actually, but there are quite a few songs in Spanish on the album, and it's the first time I recorded that much music and put it out there in Spanish.
Mhm.
And yeah, it definitely, it was this kind of, yeah, right turn in my musical journey that has definitely led me to what I'm doing now. So I think I'll always feel, yeah, just really, really lucky that I got to that point and was able to make this record. It does feel important in that way.
Lovely. Well, I also love that this album cover has for Lola has this um uh I love that it kind of obviously has a callback, right, to those colorized photos from way back when. And I'm wondering if you know, that was on purpose. It looks like you're really embodying one of these old photos, like you're putting yourself in that spotlight, maybe the way your great aunt used to be.
Yes, 100%. We were looking at her old photos and album covers. And I mean, so my best friend shot the album cover, shot the photograph. Her name is Sarah Wilson. She's just a incredible photographer, and I'm so lucky to have a best friend who is a professional photographer
Yeah,
Mhm.
because
that's nice.
I'm so comfortable with her. And I remember I was actually pregnant when we did this shoot, just in the early stages, and so was she, which was so
Mhm.
cool
Oh, nice.
because we did this shoot together in my mother's front yard.
Mm.
But then, Luke, so Luke, my husband, Luke Jacobs, in addition to being a wonderful musician, is a great artist and graphic designer and designed this whole package.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was, I believe it was his idea to kind of, I forget, it's basically, if you zoom way in, it's like little dots. You turn this photograph into all these tiny dots, kind
Hmm,
of like those old paintings that were made up of
Oh yeah.
pointillism or whatever it was called. So
cool.
that's what gives it that old retro look. And then he colorized my, yeah,
Yeah, the colorized
stick.
pieces actually kind of give it that retro look too. I love it.
Hmm.
It's so
Hmm.
great.
Yeah, really, really wonderful. Well, we are going to try and fit as much music as we can because this hour is going so fast.
I know. The
So
same thought.
we're gonna go to this next song that you picked to feature, and I believe this is a co-write.
Yes, co-write with Luke, who we were just talking about. Um, yeah, this is actually a song. I believe he started the song, and it was maybe even about something totally different. And then I picked it up, and I had just read a story in the news about a plant being raided by ICE, formerly called La Migra. And we read about it every day now. So
Yeah.
nothing has changed. It's only gotten worse. But yeah, so this is a song that's based on a real news story, but then kind of fictionalized. And I made up my own characters who were going through this, and it's about this young woman and her brother.
And
Yeah.
I'll apologize in advance. My Spanish isn't great. Can you translate Llano Estacado?
Well, sure. It's actually a region. So, and
Okay,
in
thank you.
Texas, we do call it the Llano Estacado. So
Oh,
you
you
wouldn't be
used the
saying
L,
that
huh?
wrong.
Llano? Okay.
Well, yeah, in the same way that Texans call Guadalupe Street, which would be Guadalupe, but in Austin, it's
Ah,
Guadalupe. We
okay.
do
Well, I'm glad
this,
I asked. All right, because I usually, have to
right?
pronounce the song before we. Okay, so it's a district.
So yeah, I mean, it would be the Llano Estacado, which in Spanish it does mean like the plains, the kind of stepped plains, and it's this region that stretches from sort of the Panhandle, West Texas, into New Mexico, kind of where these mesas meet the plains, and it's a region that my grandmother actually grew up in.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you for that. We're going to give it a spin now. This is Carrie Rodriguez with Llano Estacado here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Martha, she can sing the blues, oh. Left la vida en Salina Cruz, oh. She headed north with her family to the land of opportunity. And Martha, she can sing the blues, oh. On the Llano Estacado, out west toward the plain, in a pueblo olvidado where no one knows her name. Martha, she can't settle in, oh. 1,000 miles from their next of kin, oh. But little brother, he don't seem to mind. He can't recall life they left behind. And Martha, she can't settle in, oh. On the Llano Estacado, out west toward the plain, in a pueblo olvidado where no one knows her name. La migra came to town today, oh. They closed the plant and took her dad away, oh. Oh, Martha and little brother hid, and mama cried like a little kid. La migra came to town today, oh. On the Llano Estacado, out west toward the plain, in a pueblo olvidado where no one knows her name. On the Llano Estacado, it's the furthest place to hide, just outside of nowhere, where all they got is time.
Oh, man.
Nice.
Love the swing in on that. That was Carrie Rodriguez with Llano Estacado from her 2016 album Lola, which we are revisiting today with Carrie joining us live. And if you have comments, questions for Carrie, if you're joining us for the live show, then throw them in the chat and we'll get to as many as we can. And I just love the kind of the feel to that and the rhythm to that. I don't know if that was sort of always in the song or if that's something that developed later.
I think that probably started with Luke, like Luke's groove. I mean, he was really, that was a Luke groove. And then we just all kind of went with that. And then, of course, Bill Frisell. Oh, man, that's just some brilliant outer space stuff going on.
Yeah.
Love it.
It always fits right in. It's the thing that's so remarkable. You know, it's like it just it doesn't like distract you from the piece. It kind of lifts it up, and
Enhances.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really, really great. And again, if you like what you're hearing, get the album. You can pick up CD copies at carrierodriguez.com. And when you're on that store page, I was just there and I was like, I think I need to buy myself some other stuff too, because I see that your new album that you mentioned earlier from your theater show, Postcards from the Border, you have it on CD and vinyl.
Yes.
Ooh, all
Um,
right.
and you have bandanas and lots of other cool stuff. So folks can check that out. Is there anything else you want to say about the new recording that's out?
Mm. Um, no, I don't think so. I mean, yeah,
Good, folks, get it.
it's good. It's a soundtrack album, and it does have 3 spoken word pieces on it, in addition to 7 songs. So it does give you a feel for the
More of a
show.
story. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was produced by Sergio Mendoza, who's a longtime member of Calexico. We've
Mm.
worked together a lot over the years, and so yeah, it definitely has that sound a bit more than anything I've ever done.
Right
It's
on.
kind of Tucson vibes.
Yeah, well,
Right.
head on over to carrierodriguez.com and pick that stuff up. Again, even if you don't have a CD player or a record player, the album art, the liner notes, all of those things are just they're rarities these days, and it goes so far to tell an artist that you really care about what they're doing and that you want to hear more from them. So we're big fans of the physical artifacts here.
We are. And we're not the only ones. Apparently, we have some important footage to share that they also make great teethers if you have a young, small human.
Yeah,
We're
let's
going to
see.
share this
We
photo
have some,
that Carrie gave us
this
today.
might be the biggest reason why you should all pick up a copy. We're going to add to the stage here. There we go. We couldn't leave this one out.
So is this your son?
That is, yes, that is my son helping us hawk records right there.
That is one of the cutest, advertisements I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'll do public service announcement though. Please take the cellophane plastic off of the outside
Yes.
before you use it as a teether.
So for
That's
those of you who are just listening to the podcast version, we're looking at a insanely adorable picture of her young child eating a copy of Lola
Kind of
in
gnawing
CD
on it.
form. Yeah, gnawing on it, and so you gotta pick one up and give it to the children in your life without
Right.
the
Or they'll
cellophane
find it
wrapper.
anyway. I mean, from my
Yeah.
experience, kids love finding the CDs on the shelves. There's a lot
Yeah.
of fun in that.
And I'm
Um,
imagining it's raspberry flavored.
Surely it is.
or it's like your drink, Tony. What is that? Sour Patch
Oh
Kid?
gosh, I don't even know. Hazy pink pineapple, boy, that was something.
The Back Catalog Listening Party is brought to you by EFS Publicity. Founded by veteran publicist, promoter, DJ, and musician Ellen Stanley, EFS brings an artist's perspective to the table, working to help clients get to the next level in their career. Services include national and international media campaigns, radio promotions, tour press, crowdfunding, grant writing, and more. Get a quote or set up a consultation today at efspublicity.com. Chris chimed in wondering, Carrie, if you're touring much these days. I know you have a lot of those events, the Laboratorio events around Austin. Do you have any other tours planned right now?
I do have a lot of local kind of shows coming up. We are taking Postcards from the Border to the East Coast in March of 2026. That's a long way away, but anyone who lives in the Baltimore area will be at the University of Maryland in March of 2026. And honestly, I don't think I have any other travel dates. I'll just be working hard back in Texas. Y'all come see me there.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
actually, Alan, who's joining us from Texas today, he'll have to go down and check it out. And, when we all road trip down to visit him,
That's right. We're threatening that for those people who know us. There's a select group of members of our community who have supported the show for the last 5 years. And Alan is one of them. These are people who also love liner notes, and I also love the physical merchandise, and also love to support independent musicians. I just want to give them a quick shout out. This is, of course, our Patreon community who has kept us up and running and kept us able to do this kind of thing, which is like our favorite hour every week. I imagine anybody who gets a chance to just sit and listen to music like this every week, there's nothing better. And so we want to thank this group of stalwart Patreon supporters: Penny, Anna, Linda, Bevan, Connie, Vaughn, Alan, Chris, Becky, Peggy, Joe, Jim, Beverly, John, Fred, Tim, Sarah, David, Jocelyn, Matt, Steve, Mark, Homestead, Pick and Parlor, Severin, Lynn, Mary, Nikki, Joni, David, CJ, Wiley, Christy, Diane, Hetty, Sandy, Neighbor Ann, BZ, Paul, Cynthia, Ross, who I just want to say couldn't make it to the show, but chimed in to say he just loves this record so much, Carrie. I wanted to make sure that Ross heard this if he listened to the podcast. Ross, yeah, we heard you and we appreciate you. And let's not forget our newest Patreon member, Mike. Thank you so much for being part of our community. And thanks to all of you for keeping this show going for 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. And if you want to join our Patreon community, pick up one of those back catalog listening party pint glasses, and you're listening to the podcast and you say, how do I get to be in the live chat? How do I get to ask Carrie Rodriguez questions live about her records? Well, you join our Patreon and you get invitations to all of these live tapings. So thank you very much for all of your support and for all of your ears, to everyone who joined us today. And if Carrie, if you're willing to hang out a little longer, we could get to that last song, La Ultima Vez, if you have time.
Perfect. La Ultima means the last. So yes, I'm
Perfect.
here. I'm here
Awesome.
for it.
Awesome. Is there anything you want to say about it before we take a listen?
I will just say that songwriting is therapy. I wrote this with Gina Chavez. It is about my first husband, and it felt good to write, and it feels good to sing to this day. That's all I'll say.
Excellent. All right. Well, it's a great way to finish up our hour here. Carrie Rodriguez, La Ultima Vez, here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
You don't like the way I say your name. Well, I wish I had mine back. You say I'm the only one to blame, but I know better than that. You don't like it when I make that sound. Well, I can't get yours out of my head. Drives you crazy when I look around. How about you start looking my way instead? ¿Qué tonta eres? Tú me dices that's not for better, only worse. ¿Qué tonta eres? Tú me dices I've fallen to pieces por la última vez. You don't like the way I sing my songs. Well, I don't sing them only for you. You can't stand it when I prove you wrong, honey. I'm just trying to speak the truth. ¿Qué tonta eres? Tú me dices that's not for better, only worse. ¿Qué tonta eres? Tú me dices I've fallen to pieces por la última vez. Mama, she taught me how to be a strong lady, stand up for what I believe. Put downs you gave me linger on in my memory, so it's time to set you free. Tú me dices that's not for better, only worse. Que tonta eres. Tú me dices I've fallen to pieces por la última vez. Por la última vez. La última vez.
Sounded like someone walking away is what that sounded like. La
Yeah.
Ultima Vez. Good song of farewell, let's just say, to end off our hour with Carrie Rodriguez from Carrie's album Lola, which came out in 2016. And I just wanted to ask real quick, because I know we have to go, but was that just, were you just plucking the fiddle on that at the end of that, those notes? Those light notes?
Yeah, well, I was strumming the fiddle through the
Okay.
whole thing. That's, like, kind of the rhythm,
Yeah, yeah.
like,
Mhm.
holding it like a guitar, which is
Mhm.
I often do. Don't tell my classical violin teachers, but at the end, I think that was actually weird little picks by Bill Frisell
Mm.
and by
Yeah,
Luke,
those little high notes. Yeah.
maybe by Luke on the pedal steel. He was doing some real weird, picky, strange stuff on the pedal steel guitar.
Sounded awesome.
With those kind of fade outs too, I always like to imagine it went on for like another 45 minutes.
I'm clear with it.
That's right. That playground that you were talking about that Bill
Yeah.
Frisell likes to create. So
Well,
Exactly.
I'm going to just second Susan's comment here. Really nice rhythm and a wonderful last song at the end of this session. Yeah, that was just kind of the period at the end of the sentence.
Thank you.
yeah. And Gina Chavez. So good. So again, check out this album. Check out Carrie Rodriguez. If she does tour near you, you got to make it happen.
Yeah.
Or you go down to Texas to visit Alan and
Y'all, I'm just going to throw this out there. Everyone is invited. November 2nd is our next big laboratorio show. And it's going to be styled like an old time radio hour.
Nice.
And our guests are Gabby Moreno, who is a Grammy
yeah.
winning songwriter, singer, and Mireya Ramos, who sings with an all-female mariachi group called Flor de Toloache.
Ooh.
She's amazing. They're incredible artists. So I highly recommend November 2nd. Come
November
on down to
2nd.
Austin, y'all.
just to
Oh.
drive down I-35 for us, right, Tony?
Yeah, so there's like one turn.
Yeah, pretty much.
From Minneapolis to Austin. I love it. We'll have to get like a Greyhound bus and we'll all go
Yeah.
down.
Well, I'll go down together. Well, this has been such a treat. Thank you for spending an hour with us. We know you're kind of on your vacation right now, Carrie. So we really appreciate you taking
Yeah,
some
thank
time
you.
away from your family to hang out with us, because it's been such a treat. And we'd have fun hanging out, listening to your music without you. But obviously, the whole point is to get your stories and insights. And really, really special. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. That was a blast. I just loved it.
Awesome. Well, thanks to you, Carrie, and thanks to all of you out there who either tuning in live today or listening later on the podcast. We appreciate you so much. And until next time, keep supporting independent music and musicians. Cheers.
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 Thanks for joining us on the Back Catalog Listening Party. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review, which helps more people discover our show and our guests.
And do you want to be a part of the live show, get a first look at upcoming guests, and receive invites to private online parties and live streams? Then join our Patreon community at backcataloglisteningparty.com.
Have a great week. We'll see you back here next Friday for another edition of the Back Catalog Listening Party.